Everyone, Ajay Manglani from TiEcon2024, day 3 afternoon, but I tell you what a packed afternoon it has been. I just came out of Navin Chaddha, the managing partner of Mayfield Fund's Ask Me Anything session, and the room was packed on day 3, over 1,000 people, including the stand-up crowd. And I'm joined here by none other than the person himself, Navin Chaddha. Navin, thanks for joining me here.
It's a delight to be with you.
Instead of introducing him with all his accomplishments that you can all find online and everywhere, I'm going to introduce him with the term that I coined for him based on what I observed him. He is founder's favorite VC, and I'm saying favorite, not friendly, because he always works in the favor of the founder by doing the right choices. So Navin, thanks for always doing that.
It's been a delight for all the founders. They do great things. I have to do at least my part.
Absolutely. A couple of things, Navin. First of all, you have been coining this term cognition as a service, and a lot has been talked about this in the recent times on AI, intelligence. Tell our viewers very briefly, what's your vision about cognition as a service?
Yeah, our belief is AI is going to get delivered as a service. Similar to what happened with infrastructure as a service, which called IaaS, primarily for IT. Same thing happened with PaaS for developers, platform as a service. For business users, it was SaaS. And now, if anybody wants to become a superhuman, wants to get intelligence, our belief is that's going to get delivered as a service, what we are calling cognition as a service, also known as CaaS.
That's a great point, and I think you can see that evolution already happening in a couple of your investment in this area. Second thing, you were with us yesterday as well, actually hosting Jensen Huang, none other than the CEO of NVIDIA. So I want to congratulate you on that as well. And as I think about it, there is a lot to congratulate you in the recent times. And first one is one of your portfolio companies who you have talked a lot about, HashiCorp, right? And you have worked very closely with the founders throughout their journey. Had their second exit, and what a success, right? They got acquired by IBM, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about, what you feel after that kind of a second exit success.
I think it's a great thing for all the employees there, because as a VC, you never know when you're investing what the outcome is going to be. So we backed this company about a decade back, invested in it. The company went through its IPO in December of 2021. And now, a few years later down the road, it's getting acquired. So some people might have exited post the IPO, and some people continued. So I'm glad that finally everybody who hadn't even cashed out post the IPO is going to do well. And that's what company building is about, is rewarding everybody who joins along the way in making a company successful. So I want to congratulate all the employees, not only the founders and the management, who made things happen at HashiCorp.
No, absolutely. And that's where, to our audience, you can see Navin's passion in the voice itself. And no wonder you are a person with Midas touch, having won all of those awards. And I know, Navin, that you have that almost a skill and art that you not only pick winners, but winners for a long haul. And in fact, you have been talking very vocally about recently about that playbook, right? And what you call the rules of the road for building enduring companies or enduring AI companies, right? So I thought, maybe we spend about next couple of minutes going each of your 5 main points that you have talked about. And maybe I can start by saying each point, and you can describe what does it mean with some kind of an example. So the first one you always talk about is like, look, build a company based on values, right? In terms of the long-term values as a team sport. What do you mean? Because at the end of the day, it's still about finance and balance sheet, right? And when do you think the values and the balance sheet might have a little bit of a tuggle along the way?
Yeah, so I think company building, first and foremost, is a marathon. It's not a sprint. The second thing I would say is, when you build a company, it's like playing a team sport, because to build a massive company, you need people. That's not a solo sport. And if you're going to play all this thing together, you need to have a shared mission and a shared set of values. So for example, Lyft is a company I mention all the time, which had a shared mission of changing people's life by providing the world's best transportation. But you can do that in many, many ways. The company decided it's going to pick only three values that everybody will get aligned to, which is be yourself, uplift others, and just make things happen. So sometimes such simple things as having one mission and 3 values just creates greatness. and gets everybody aligned to go after that mission with those set of values.
And I like that a lot because you answered my question that once you have those kind of clear principles, all the decisions, whether balance sheet or finance, you can just look at those principles and make the right choices around that, right? Second point you have talked a lot about is, sell painkillers, not vitamins. And again, basically you are picking each of the business verticals. So now it's about sales and go-to-market models, right? Mm-hmm. We know enterprise market is crowded, technology market is crowded. How do entrepreneurs really sell within that crowded market? And what's your message or playbook there?
Yeah, so what I would say is there's a lot of technologies that are being sold into an enterprise or into a CIO. One needs to understand what is their top priority. I always ask entrepreneurs to tell me, are you the number one priority for a CIO? Or the business buyer, are you number two? After that, I don't ask any questions. Because companies get so busy, if they can just get through their first priority and second, you win. And that's why I always say, your product or solution better be a painkiller. If somebody has a headache, they need a painkiller, a Tylenol or an Advil. They don't need vitamin C. That's for longer term benefit. So that's what I mean by that thing. Sell painkillers, not vitamins, because people have limited time. They have a pain. And if you're not in those top two pain points, there is no third for startups.
And great point. From sales perspective, it's so easier for salespeople to sell when they can stick to that. Like, look, if we are the number one painkiller for your company's one of the top pain areas, right? They can sell it very well. And you alluded already to your third point, which is you always talk about building differentiated products with deep and clear moat about it, right? But then again, we know that entrepreneurs have only so much time and resources to balance. And we know that they also go through the pivotal journeys of the product, right? At what point do you actually sit down with entrepreneurs and you both start thinking about, hey, it's time to pivot the product? Is it an art? Is it a science? Is there a playbook there?
There is not a playbook, right? Like what I would say is you always need to have a first principles mindset. Start looking for signals. And if it's not working, accept defeat, come back, retool yourself as long as you have money and go after the right problem. So I think it's first principles, it's common sense thinking, and just look at the signs and the signals there in front of you. Just make the hard call.
That's a great playbook again as well. The fourth principle you talk about is the investor and entrepreneur relationship, right? It has to be a two-way stream, right? Now, on a light-hearted note, I know that as an investor, you are in a great position to give a lot of advice to your entrepreneurs, rightfully so, because you have seen much bigger view from different companies. What are the times where you take their advice? Because you said it's a two-way stream, right? Any scenarios there?
Yeah, all the time. Especially when we are getting into new markets. I'm always asking entrepreneurs, right? You're selling into this market for AI. What do you think of this product? Then I go ask every entrepreneur, what do you think of this entrepreneur? Would you hire them? Would you work for them? Or would you buy their product? So it's always good in this business to ask people whom you trust on everything. What do they think about the person? What do they think about the product? Will their customers buy it? Leverage everybody's network. And the main reason is your entrepreneurs are on the ground. They are the ones fighting. They are your eyes and ears. Get the signals from them.
Yeah, no, great. And the last point that you always say about is think from not just the unicorn perspective, but unicorn's perspective, right? And basically, again, you are saying it's a long-term game for you, right? But again, do people not, entrepreneurs and you as well, sometimes not get into like, hey, there is a big valuation check coming to you, go sell them too early, too quickly. How do you decide this is not the right time to take that check of the buyout or, to go to market too early, like we saw in the summer of 2021? Any advice there?
Yeah, so what I would say is the entrepreneur and VC need to decide, are they playing a real game? A real game is playing physical sports, or are we playing some virtual game? And what I mean, if you're going to build a real company, the prize is at the end, when either you get acquired or when you go public. Intermediate valuations on paper have no meaning. That's just to feel good. So do the right thing. It's not about feeling good on paper valuations. Let's go create real companies. Real companies which solve real customer needs, make real money. And if you do that, the results will be yours, the world will be yours.
Yeah, and essentially from the business language, what you are saying is not just the product, finance, go-to-market, and the overall relationship team sport. You are saying focus also on processes, efficiencies, because you're building a business for a long haul. And if your efficiencies and the processes don't translate into the right results, basically the fundamentals, then you are not ready. Well, that was insightful. I want to ask you one last question.
Absolutely.
You have been associated with TiEcon and TiE for a long time, a great partner to entrepreneurial ecosystem. How do you see TiEcon 2024, and has it evolved anything at all?
Yeah, I would say TiEcon is doing a good job. This year was a especially good year with the team, Anita and everybody getting Jensen to be the opening keynote on day 2 and pivoting the entire conference around AI. It couldn't have been a better thing. And I think TiEcon has the opportunity to take this to the next level over the next few years. So please build on the momentum and success you have created. And I'm looking forward to climbing new heights with all of you. Thank you.
We are as well. Thank you, Navin. Everyone, thanks for your time. Thanks, Navin.